What is up, Disney nerds? Today, I want to talk about some Disney news, Marvel news, and DC news. We got a lot of stuff that's coming up, a lot of exciting news, a lot of disappointing stuff, but we'll see what happens. And if you cannot tell with my voice, I am a little bit sick. All I know is it's not COVID, so that's good. But yeah, with that being said, let's jump into the video. Before we do that though, make sure you like and subscribe, and if you're new to the channel, please ring the bell for notifications. Alright, with that being said, let's go. So starting off with the big elephant in the room, I'm sure you already heard this, and if you haven't, let's dive into it. So the MCU has kind of delayed some of their projects. Now the projects consist of Blade, Deadpool 3, Fantastic Four, and Avengers Secret Wars. Now, of course, these all had a domino effect because of the Blade movie, and if you have not heard of that, the Blade movie lost its director because of a 90-page script, and they didn't have enough pages, action scenes, stuff like that. So they kind of lost their director. They were put on pause. So now the Blade movie is pushed back, and that included pushing back Deadpool 3, Fantastic Four, and Avengers Secret Wars. With Blade, the new release date is September 6, 2024, and it was November 3rd, 2023, but it got pushed back roughly around a year, 10 months to be exact. But you know what, that's kind of okay because I want them to progress that story well. I want them, that way they have the special effects teams to go through calmly, because those special effects teams, they were stressed, especially with She-Hulk and stuff. And now at least they have some time to breathe. Deadpool 3 has been pushed back to November 8th, 2024, opposed to September 6th, 2024. So it was supposed to come out when Blade is coming out, but now it got pushed back because of Blade. And this also led into Fantastic Four being pushed back into February 14th, I believe, sometime in February, when it was supposed to be in November. Now these pushbacks don't make me too upset. And the big one is Secret Wars got pushed back to May 1st, 2026, opposed to, like, I believe it was November or something outrageous. It was 6 months after Avengers King Dynasty. And obviously, they can't do 2 Avengers movies in 1 year. That's just entirely way too much. But I kind of like how they're doing it, sort of like Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, where it's just kind of 1 year difference. And I do like that setup because it gives you the suspense for a whole year. You get some movies in between that year. So yeah, that's going to be really fun. So those movies have been pushed back. And honestly, I'm okay with it. I'm not opposed to it. It gives the special effects teams way more time, like I said. So yeah, now moving over to some TV news with Marvel, She-Hulk. I really like She-Hulk. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people are saying it's one of the worst TV shows that Marvel released. Personally, I disagree with this statement. I think it's one of the best TV shows Marvel released. I'm a sucker for comedy. I love this comedy. The only shows I think that are better is WandaVision and Loki. That's really it, those 2 shows. And then She-Hulk would be number 3 for me. I find this incredibly funny, and the finale is coming up on Thursday. Today is Wednesday, so tomorrow. And if this video is published on then today's the day, but we'll see when this video gets published. But yeah, so speaking of that, we saw a TV spot. Apparently, Hulk is coming back in the season finale. Maybe we'll get to see where he's been. I know he is fighting the Abomination. This is going to be the first time he's fought Abomination since 2008 Hulk. And that was a completely different actor. So we're going to see how that works. I'm pretty excited for the season finale. I'm a bit disappointed because they do that formula all the time where they release the big bad of the whole TV show right at the end. But you know what, I really like this show and I enjoyed it. And I can't wait to see more of She-Hulk and Daredevil. So yeah. And lastly, I don't know if I ever showed this information, but Armor Wars, a TV show that was supposed to be coming out way in the future, has now been changed into a movie, which I gotta say, I think this is a great call. A lot of shows that have out on Disney Plus, I feel like should have been a movie. Some of those shows maybe include Hawkeye or Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I feel like those two movies should have been, those two shows should have been a movie. You could have had Loki as maybe a movie, had maybe like 2-part movies. But yeah, movies like that, or even Moon Knight as a movie. Like, I feel like a lot of these shows should be movies, and that's why I'm really excited to see Armor Wars as a movie. And especially since the Iron Patriot, or War Machine's the main character of this. And I'm just glad to see that he is finally getting his own movie with Armor Wars. And I gotta say, I'm very excited for Secret Invasion, but I feel like Secret Invasion would have been awesome as a movie. Now, with that being said, there is some controversy with this move. A lot of people are saying it's a really good thing because they have so much content and they have so many good ideas to make it into a movie. Or a lot of people are saying it's maybe a bad call. Maybe this movie won't be good because it clearly didn't have enough content to be a show. The way I look at this is I'm pretty hopeful for this, and I think that they probably have they think it's going to be a priority within the MCU that they put it as a movie. However, I mean, Loki and WandaVision were two enormous things that were needed to be in the MCU. And those were TV shows. Like, you didn't really need She-Hulk. You didn't really need Moon Knight for the story coming up ahead. Or same goes for Hawkeye. But you really didn't need WandaVision to have Doctor Strange. You really needed Loki to have the King Dynasty. Where Armor Wars, I don't really know. I'm not really familiar with the comics, but I do believe that it ties into Ironheart and a few other things. But we're going to see what that movie entails. And I'm not quite sure when the release date of that movie will be, but we're going to see, and I think it's going to be a great movie. Alright, we're done with Marvel news. Let's move over to DC news. As you can see, DC has not been good for the past few years, except for Batman movies, surprisingly. But the DCU mainly, except for like every other DC standalone project, those have all been good for some reason. But when you get into the DCEU, it's just awful. Like a pile of garbage lit on fire mixed with dog breath or something. I don't know. But that's what the DCEU is. Except you got some really good movies such as Suicide Squad and Shazam in there. And Man of Steel, you know, I'm going on about random stuff, but whatever. But DC might be coming back, and we have one man to thank for that, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. There have been some interviews with him, and I'm going to play those interviews in a little bit. That he kind of brings hope into sharing some details, and let's see those interviews.
To go with Black Adam, with the JSA, the Justice League, new characters that are in the DC Bible that haven't been introduced yet. I loved Superman, and I still do. Jake, I could see things so clearly on how that scene looks like, what that scene looks like, what the film looks like, what the next 3 films look like. Now, whether or not that comes to fruition, that always helps when you have that kind of clarity. But here's what I do now. Listening to the fans when I was wrestling always led and guided me, just like now. So for the past 10 years, as I was pushing Black Adam up this hill to get made, I was also listening to the fans at the same time. Where you have Black Adam, we will create Black Adam for him to be the most powerful and unstoppable force on this planet. The most powerful and unstoppable force in the entire universe has been on the sidelines.
Now, what this interview means, I'm very excited because when I first saw that he was getting the role and him saying, oh, Black Adam's the hierarchy of power, I was going to be like, oh God, it's just going to be another movie that's not going to be that good. But now, it kind of seems like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has a plan and is trying to step into DCEU and basically say, hey, we need this for the fans, we need that for the fans, and I'm loving it. I feel like he's really gonna try to make Superman fight Black Adam, and that's what he really kind of teases in here. And I really think that this means Henry Cavill will be Superman again, and I really hope it does. And clearly what this kind of means is that they were trying to put like their 10-year plan or whatever DC was, And their big bad, supposedly with the Zack Snyder universe, was of course Dark Side. And with this version, with the real DCEU, it kind of seems like the big bad is going to be Black Adam, but they're going a different route, opposed to Thanos, where Thanos was kind of in it, but like hinted towards it. Like he was in the first Avengers, but he wasn't like the huge big bad. Whereas Black Adam is going to be, obviously, he's going to be introduced in Black Adam. And then maybe down the line, he's going to have some controversy where he fights Superman. And then he's going to be so up and up, and he might even just fight the whole Justice League at one point, and that's going to be kind of like the Avengers Endgame level threat. And so that's really cool to see how they're kind of trying to make this the best they could possibly do. I mean, they could do way better. There's really nothing else I could say. Just the DCEU has disappointed me so much, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, I just hope you can fix it, and if you can't, just put the DCEU out of its misery. Just end it, call it a night, and we can start over with the Batman, and have the Batman have its own universe where it's Superman, stuff like that. Just erase it if it doesn't work. And if it does work, good for you. But if it doesn't, just tie it. Tie the knot, cut loose ends, and call it a day. Because I've had it. Now moving over to Disney World news. We got some stuff that doesn't make me feel great. But Disney Genie is $15 at Walt Disney World, and they are kind of increasing. For Walt Disney World, Disney Genie will be increasing its prices depending on the day, so that could go to $22, maybe even $30 per person. Now that just seems unfair to me. I can't stand Disney Genie. I hate lightning lanes. It's just the bane of my existence. I miss Fast Pass, but I guess Disney needs their money for some reason, even though they are one of the most biggest corporations of all time. But I get it. I understand. But personally, what I would do instead of using Disney Genie and complaining about Disney Genie, just don't use it. That's my personal opinion. I don't use Disney Genie. When I go into the parks, I plan my park day well. I made some videos on that, how to plan it. I plan my park day well. I make sure that the days I go, the park isn't that big or isn't that capacitated, like the capacity isn't overcrowded and stuff. Make sure you get on the rides you want to. And then there is no need for Disney Genie. There really isn't. The only need for Disney Genie is for people that don't plan well, honestly. I hate Disney Genie. Future Max here. Actually, like, this is an hour after filming the video. I'm editing it now. Obviously, I'm not as good as I was. My sinuses are still bad. But yeah, I kind of wanted to show some details as there is some other bad news coming to Disney World. Sadly, inflation has caused America just to go up in prices, and this is no excuse with Disney World. Their inflation is also going up. This includes food and drinks. So say you buy Dasani water, it's going up like 50 cents. And say like you buy like a Smart Water, say it's like $4.25, it's going up to $4.75. It doesn't sound like a big difference, but obviously it adds up, especially when it comes to 50 cents. If you buy 2 waters, that's $1 more compared to what it used to be. So make sure you take that into consideration. And obviously this is going to help Walt Disney make some money, Walt Disney World. But yeah, so prices are going up, not price tickets or anything, but just food in general, water, wine, alcoholic beverages, stuff like that. So yeah. Moving on though with some good news over in Disney World. Fantasmic is returning in November, and I'm excited. Fantasmic is obviously my favorite fireworks show of Disney of all time. I love Fantasmic so much, and I'm so excited to see that it's back. Can't wait to see it. But yeah, that is all my news for today. We got some heartbreaking news, we got some exciting news, and we got some just neutral news. But anyways, it is news. So with that being said, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for future videos. And yeah, Disney Nerd out. Peace.